Hey, what's up, everybody? Going to talk about slipping footage in Avid for Premiere people, and this is actually a good representation of it. You see you have this clip right here, and as long as you have room on either one of these sides, you go into this thing called the slip tool in Premiere, and now I can drag the footage underneath left or right without moving the ins and outs on the timeline. So it's moving the footage underneath this box in a sense. You still have the same exact in and out in the timeline, but what's in the footage can change. It's like you're slipping and sliding, they call it, the footage underneath this little box. So in Avid, you can do this in trim mode, but because I believe you can edit so much faster if you don't go in and out of trim mode. Just think about the seconds it takes for the Avid to load up trim mode and then get back into regular mode, and all that time you would save if you do this all in source record mode, as it's known. So I have this clip right here. Now what I would do, let's say, this was in a timeline with a million other shots and I wanted to keep this in and out exactly the same, but I wanted to change where this shot starts. So we have all these like graphic move type stuff, and say I wanted this to start with this part of the education. So normally I would just match frame into education, hit T, hit an in and out, and cut it in there. And now I have what I need to do. But let's say for some reason you wanted to use this slip tool. So in Avid, when you have this M, comma, period, and question mark right next to the shift on the bottom right, this actually, when it's in source record mode, this is what's slipping the footage underneath. I don't really use the slip and slide that much, but I'm going to show you what I would use it for. Let's say for some reason it went out of frame, went out of sync. Okay, so it went out of sync here, 11 frames. So I'm going to know right away, rather than me going back and finding and counting, that's the only time I'm going to use this slip and slide mode. And now I know minus 11, I actually have to go, right? I can see what's happening here. I'm moving it 10 frames at a time until I get back to 0. 1 frame, same thing here. And so I'm going to try to explain this without making my head explode. In trim mode, if you would hit M, you would be able to trim 10 frames to the left. But when you're in source record mode, for whatever reason, if you hit this button to the left, it's going to slide the footage 10 frames to the right. It's the opposite when you're in source record mode, hitting these 4 keys. For all of them. I actually, for a long time, I would come over and be like, oh, wait a minute, it's got to go the opposite way. Look, the one facing right means I'm slipping the clip 10 frames to the left. If you don't want to remember it this way, and you actually do go into trim mode, that would make it really confusing to go back and forth with it being opposite in trim mode. But there is a way to fix that, and I'll show you that right now. So you can switch this. If I hit Control 3, and I go into my keyboard settings button to button, you can actually switch. Yeah, the M and the comma are going to the left in trim. So if you switch that to the right and switch the other two, is going to be now left. Now they're going to actually, even though they're opposite on the keyboard, because in source record mode, it's the opposite, they're going to match up on your keyboard. So if I was to look at my keyboard, now I'm moving the clip left, now I'm moving the clip right, and the numbers correspond equally. So again, slip and slide mode, if you see my videos called copy and source into the record monitor and match frame with A, the idea that everything I'm editing really quickly is over here to the left. Again, this is not ideal for me that it's over here to the right. So especially for Premiere people who wanted to know how to slip footage underneath, in Avid, you can do it without going into trim mode. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for the beer recommendations. More than anything, I get some really nice comments in this channel about how the tips help them, but more importantly is the beer recommendations. They really are very, very helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. The new course based on the 2021 version is coming out on June 15th, and I'll see you in the next video.